right. How's it going, everybody? I'm gonna be starting my stream soon. Before I start my streams, I'm gonna take a bong rip because that's what I like to do. I like to get stoned and talk about things. So that's what I'm gonna do. I've been thinking about creating a TV show or not a TV show, but a little blog thing or video blog or whatever, where we talk about touchy subjects, piss people off, and that's it. I'm gonna probably share this on my Facebook and ban all commenting and stuff like that. So there won't be any chance for really much arguing because I don't want to start anything on Facebook or I don't want to start anything on YouTube. I just want to bring some light into the world about some things. So first, what I'm going to do though is I'm going to get my pick. I have my trusty electric nail, and I don't know if you'll be able to see it, but there it is. Trusty electric nail. I'm going to take a hoot of some donkey butter shatter here, a rosin, and then I am going to light my joint and put my bong back and start my stream. So here we go. All right, so I'm gonna put my bong back, turn my nail off, let it cool down. I'm 420 friendly, 110%. So just so you know. Um, all right, and the shittiest roller ever seen. I don't know if you can see that or zoom in. Fucking shit roll job. They ain't never going to see a shittier roller than me. I don't know if you can see in the background. I just realized that my camera now gives me the way my living room set up. It gives me an opportunity to show off some of my cool shit. At the top of that shelf, there is a Optimus Prime uh, voice voice over headset. Anyways, so there's some touchy subjects that are going around in the world right now with um, this whole woke thing with the whole LGBTQ, the everything. I don't want to get into it. I don't want to list all the details. I don't want to offend anybody. I don't want to start any things. I just want to say there's a lot of things that are coming into play here, into our society, into our world, things we never thought were ever going to happen. And uh, a lot of people are dealing with it. I'm dealing with it. I'm dealing with it. I'm sure the same way a lot of people is dealing with it. I don't. We'll get when I get to the end of this. We will go over some of the things that what I think about this whole woke situation with the LGBTQ, with the racism card, with the people just throwing everything out there with everything. But today specifically, we're gonna talk about one specific thing, and that is using the word transphobic. I can't stand that word. Um, so yeah, that's what we're going to talk about today. Other days, we're going to tackle some other serious topics. If I get good reviews, then maybe we will continue to do this. Anyways, I am going to quickly run to the little boys' room, and then I'm going to come back, and then we're going to start. So 1 second here. I'm back. So let's get this shit on my head properly. All right, there we go. So, I'm just going to say hello to the chat here, and I will introduce myself. So I'm Sean. A lot of people here in Chilliwack, BC, Canada know who I am. Lots of friends, family, enemies, you name it. And been here all my life. I'm disabled. Well, not disabled, like crippled, like I got hit by a car, or I was born disabled or something like that. I was born with disabilities that make things complicated for me. Um, I've got kids. Um, um, Married. Well, not married, but in a common law relationship. You know, all kinds of things. Um, Anyways, that's a little bit about me. A little bit more to explain why I felt like I should do this is a few years ago, me and somebody who I will mention further in the video were having a discussion, and he decided to attack me and say some things about me. And I freaked out and I called him a bunch of names. Some of those names were derogatory names towards. I'll just be straight up. I called him a fag lover because I don't know. I just was angry. And I say things when I'm angry and I shout things out. I've been dealing with anger my whole life. I've been in foster care because of it, because my mom couldn't handle me, my dad couldn't handle me. It wasn't fair for my brother to have to deal with it. I grew up with, I haven't changed. My temper tantrums, my anger, my whatever, my freakouts, it all hasn't changed. It hasn't gotten any better. I'm taking pills, I go to meetings, I do all this and that, so on and so forth. So, uh, to try and keep in control of my anger. My wife has to deal with it. My kids have to deal with it. They've had to deal with it a lot worse when they were growing up. I didn't know how to raise kids. It was a lot harder for me. They turned out pretty good because of it, I guess. As sloppy as it was, it's turned out pretty good for them, anyways, and for me. Neither of them are, in trouble with the law or doing any bad things, really, or none of them are pregnant or anything like that. So I think things are going pretty good. Um, but yeah, my anger has been a problem for a very long time in my life. And when I have conflict, I say things that uh, they don't, they're not fair to the other person. They're not right, or I shouldn't be saying them. They're derogatory. They're disrespectful. Uh, Sometimes it's a racist comment. Sometimes it's a um, sexist. Sometimes it's a whatever. I don't mean any of the things I've said. I mean, I know 10% of everything you say is true or whatever. I don't care what everybody thinks about me, what everybody thinks. I get mad and I don't know what else to say, so I say rude, disgusting, disrespectful things with a lack of what else do I do? What else do I do in a sense of anger? What else do I do? When people attack me, I don't know how to control myself. My mental health goes 900 miles an hour, and you can either laugh at me, you can either say, you know what, you deserve your problems, then you deserve people saying the shit that they say to you, whatever you can say, whatever you want. But I'm trying my best to change myself. I don't know how many of you can say that about yourselves. As I say that, as I'm smoking a joint, some of you are gonna think that's bullshit, but whatever. I don't care. I don't smoke cigarettes. I don't drink. Weed and coffee are really my only habits. Um, but yeah, so I had an argument with an ex-friend or a person I used to call a friend. He said a few choice things to me about the way I do things, and then also about my family. And I don't have any proof of this, by the way, because it's also in my anger state. I also say and do things, and then I delete it to hide from my problems because I don't want anybody to see what else I said or what else I did. It sucks. I know. I hate it. Uh, so I had a freak out, and I was thinking maybe if I started doing a show, maybe this would be a way to vent, a way to whatever, just uh, a way to get my shit out there. Um, but yeah, uh, it just was. It's This is gonna maybe be a way for me to learn how to put up with people's shit and not react. Just listen. I don't know. I don't know what I'm supposed to think of this here, but anyways, I'm almost on my joint here. That's my intro. I have some anger issues. I said something to an ex-friend of mine. We got into an argument. We've got into a couple arguments, actually, where he said some things that were really rude and belligerent to me, or something that would set anybody off. But he knows how childish I get. He knows how I am. So, of course, I said some really stupid shit. I apologize to anybody who may have gotten offended. I actually don't feel that way about anything or anybody. It's not who I am. But he then retaliated by saying some gross things about me, um, and posted it, made me look like I'm a bad person, and I'm not. I have problems. I have mental, like I said, that's my excuse, and I'm sticking to it. But I'm also doing something about it. So it's not just an excuse. It's just what it is. I don't know. Anyways, uh, so now we're gonna get down to details here, and I'm gonna tell you what happened, who it was that did it, and all that kind of stuff. So, are you ready for it? First of all, we're going to go to a screen picture here that I have of what we're going to go over. Um, I did this um, before I made the video, so hopefully we will be able to go through this and take a look. So now I'm going to show you my screen. So if you have to zoom in, I don't know. I'll try and make it a little bit bigger. There we go. So what does it mean to be transphobic? Why I feel we need to learn this. My definition of it doesn't have to be your definition of it. My definition of transgender, transphobic, LGBTQ, all that crap. This is what I feel. You want to share what you think? Go right ahead. I'm going to try my best to keep my mouth shut. Um, and then my standings on transgender and how I am not transphobic. One, why I think we need to learn this, or why I feel we need to learn this. Nathan Chapman is the person that said the transgender bullshit, decided to comment on my Facebook post that I was really hating on the transgender community or something like that, or I was attacking the transgender community, or and I'm going to admit I have some posts on my page. One of them is a thing that says transgender women are men. I don't go out of my way to attack people. I may post something that I think is funny or that I agree with on my page, but I'm sure you do too. So, anyways, I posted it on my page. He came onto my page, decided to say that I was hating on the transgender community, which I guess I am. I kind of am. You can call it hating on it or just posting shit that I think is funny because again, I don't agree with it. I don't agree with it, so I post shit that I think is funny for the same reason that if you do agree with it, you're going to post shit that you think is funny. So, anyways, decided to come on there and make comments on my page. First comment was not a big deal. I had something typed out and then I deleted all that because then he wrote his second comment. Nathan Chapman, once again, that's his name. Uh, he decided to then tell me that he hopes that my son is transgender. Now, right away, I jumped to conclusions. Obviously, I don't think this is what he means, but jumped to conclusions in my head. Like, what, are you attracted to my son? And why would you talk about something like that in a same sentence? Like, why would you bring my son into this? I don't even know what it was that made me mad, just generally speaking. Why would you bring my son or anybody's child into a conversation about this? Because I never bring him or his family or anything into this. I never attack him because of this. He decides to come onto my page and do these things. So then I sent him a message. Anyways, with that being said, he came onto my page and brought my son into our conversation, our conflict. Now, I would never bring his family members or him or anybody that he knows or whatever into our conversation because it doesn't involve them, first of all. And he knows how much I love and care about that person. So he knows that that may cause controversy between me and my son, and I would never wish that on anybody. I wouldn't wish some controversy between him and his son. I wouldn't wish controversy between him and any of his kids or any of that, any people in his life that he loves that he may possibly, you know. I just don't. I'm growing up in foster care and stuff like that. I don't really. Uh, so we're gonna go over that, and I'm gonna explain that, and then last but not least, my definition of being transphobic. Being transphobic doesn't mean uh, making statements, comments, uh, or whatever, saying things. You could be angry as fucking just saying things because you're mad, so you're saying them. That's all it means. Uh, So, in my opinion, it doesn't mean shit. Um, but oh, we can see where did that go? I lost my page. Oh, there it is. So, anyways, uh, or not last, second, we're going to talk about my definition. You're going to see here, my definition is doesn't mean to make statements or comments against the current transgender community, but to say hateful things to people of that community. I will be providing examples when the time comes. Um, being transphobic means to specifically display hatred towards transgender people where the sole intention is to harm transgender people. Being transphobic means purposely excluding or discriminating someone with the intent to hurt them because they're transgender. We can have a different opinion, we can have different core beliefs, but attacking one another, however, is wrong, no matter what you believe on what side of the LGBT community you're on. And my standing of being transgender, I do not agree with it. I believe that our productive cells are, or whatever, I don't know, are what identify us, not a penis or vagina, but eggs and semen. I'll be explaining that later. I do not agree in gender identity should be taught in our schools. I believe all discussion of sex, as in the action, and gender should be discussed only with parents at, at an age deemed appropriate by each individual household. Basically, the parents are the guidelines for the family, for the children. You want to go and do other stuff, you go and do other stuff after you're an adult or when your parents say that that is okay. Until then, we're the ones who decided to create you. Whether you and your parents are the ones that decided to create you now. To tell someone that they have to live a certain way for the rest of their life is wrong. I don't have the right to tell my kids that they, but while they live under my roof, they will follow my rules. And if that doesn't mean I'm going to be disrespectful to them, that means that if when they become older, they want me to come visit them, they have to understand that I want them to try and make it as comfortable for me as possible, understanding what my core beliefs are and what my values are. And if they come over to my house, I will try and make it as comfortable for one of my kids, their girlfriends, their boyfriends, their whatever, their he, her, she, them. I don't give a shit what you are. But until you were in under your parents' roof, or while you were under your parents' roof, until you are an adult, I believe that you should not be allowed to make that decision. Do you know what else I also think? I also think you shouldn't be allowed to make the decision of having sex until you're 18, 19 years old, at least at the lowest age. Um, uh, I do not think that um, people should be making decisions like sex, children, stuff like that until they've got their education, at least got their stability for their beginning of their life. Accidents happen, people do stupid shit, and shit happens, and whatever. I can't control that, and I'm not going to judge people for the mistakes or the decisions that they make. I can't say they're all mistakes, and I can't say they're all right or they're all wrong, but I will say they're definitely not 100%. You know, the uh, they're not a, these decisions that people are making are uh, not 100%. Their own or the smartest ones when they're the youngest, when they're young. Like I grew up with kids that were 14, 15 years old, pregnant as hell. I know teenagers now that are 13, 14, 15, and either aren't pregnant because they're lucky or are pregnant, maybe even with their second one already. And it's fucked. And I know their parents. I grew up, I see them when I'm walking down the street or when I used to work downtown at the grocery store. They're my friends' kids. And they're pregnant at 14, 15, 16 years old. I'm like, holy fuck. Some of them like 16, 17 on their second kid already. Nothing wrong with it. They can make the work, they can do it. That doesn't mean I think it's fucking right. Doesn't mean that I think that they were able to make that decision to to have sex and have a kid at that age. If I don't think that they're able to make that decision, why would I think they're able to make decisions so big as what their gender is going to be for the rest of their fucking life, where they're going to go get their wiener cut off or their vajayjay exverted or whatever it's called, uh, into a wiener. Like, um, just no. So I just don't think that people should be making those decisions until they're 18 years old. You want to live on your own, have your girlfriend, boyfriend who is the opposite, whatever, do all whatever you want under your own roof. You come into my roof, I'm going to ask you to respect. Same thing as my friends. If you're transgender, you're whatever, blah, 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 blah. I'm not going to want you to come over to my house. I'm not going to want to go over to your house. I don't want to put myself in a position where I feel uncomfortable. I'm uncomfortable with it because I don't agree with it. I don't agree with a lot of things, and I'm not going to put myself in a position where I have to be around it unless I absolutely have to put myself in that position, obviously. So, with that being said, um, just wait till you're 18, 19 years old, at the earliest 16, because that's when you're legally allowed to talk to the government about getting you some help to financially move out on your own if your parents agree with it. But at least when you're not under your parents' roof, because you wouldn't want them to bring things into your roof that you don't like, so they have to respect you. That's all I ask. That's all I say. I'm not transphobic, and we'll be getting to that in the later part of this episode one or this stoned ramble or whatever the fuck you want to call it. But anyways, uh, so last but not least, I've no more on here finally, is if you want to argue religion with science, you can't reverse it to fit your beliefs. So you can't say that God, not necessarily the Christian God, not necessarily Jesus, but any God, you can't say that they're not the creator of the world. Or with God world, the world wasn't created. Whatever you choose to believe, I'm not. That's not the argument. We're not on that argument right now. We're on a different argument. Whatever you choose to believe, if you believe in any kind of religion, you cannot say that the world wasn't created by man and say science, 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 Big Bang Theory, all this bullshit that you choose to believe, and then turn around and when we say science, 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 you say no, no, no. That's just, it's just magic. Shit happens. Blah 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 blah. There's a lot of other things we're going to talk about that are not on this list, but this is just kind of a little breakdown of some of the things we're going to talk about. I highlighted topics with colors and check marks to try and brighten this up, but also, you know, make it uh, more friendly for the community, I guess you'd say. I only had four topics, so. So let's get back to where we are at here with what we were going to talk about today. So now I'm going to bring you to what we were going to talk about for the first topic of my episode one of my show that I'm thinking about doing. I hope this is not as stupid as it sounds. It's been long time rambling, stoned. I'm sorry. I don't do anything when I'm sober, so here we are. Anyways, let's get to the business. So, this here, right here, is the meme that I uh, that I posted on my Facebook page that Nathan Chapman decided to go onto and tell me that I was hating on the transgender community or that I'm attacking the transgender community. And like I said, I have anti-transgender posts on my community on my page. I don't have hateful crime attack posts, but I have things that I think are funny or whatever. You know, um, and that's my page. I believe it's like I'm allowed to do that. It's like my schoolwork at school when I was a kid. And you're not allowed to come up to my page and start writing on my shit. Only my dog's there. I thought it fucking scared the shit out of me. Anyways, you post something on your thing at school, and you're allowed, you're to express yourself. Someone's not allowed to go on there and start writing shit and drawing something on there. Um, and if you do, that's kind of rude. So, uh, why would you do that? Why don't you just let people express themselves, leave their fucking shit alone, and then when they express themselves, you know, at least I've had a chance to feel better, whatever it is that they get out of expressing themselves. At least they've had that. You just throw it in their face, make them feel like a piece of shit even more. Uh, I don't know. Just throwing it out there. But anyways, let's get back to topic. Once again, I'm a rambler. Uh, so I posted this picture. He said that I was making fun of the transgender community. Now, I don't know where on here it says transgender or anything like that, aside from the fact that most transgender people have colorful hair and different piercings and tattoos and et cetera, and wear different clothing, but that doesn't necessarily mean they're transgender. It just means that they're fucking like, could be someone that's part of the pro transgender community. Maybe they're not part of the transgenders, but maybe they're people, but the transgender community. Um, but maybe they're part of the people who are okay with it. Either way, it's just fucking colorful hair and some colorful clothing. That's it. Like that's 110% all I saw when I saw this picture, and the fact that most Starbucks or fancy barista people are kind of like this, and I don't know. They kind of, I feel like they're judging me just as much as I'm judging them right now, I guess. But uh, yeah, it was just a funny post. I laughed my ass off when I saw it, and I posted it on my thing. And he decided to assume that I was coming up to the transgender community. There's not a piece in my mind that thought transgender. I thought fancy coffee barista, weird ass attire and weird ass hair just happens to be, you go into an art studio, you got lots of people with black hair and dark look and whatever, you know? It's just, or you go somewhere, you go to the fire hall, you're gonna see people with fire jackets on. You know what I'm saying? Going to this coffee barista, you're gonna see funky people. It's just the way it is. It's, not the way it is 100% of the time or all the time. It's just a common denominator when I've gone to a coffee barista. I agree with this photo or coffee shop. The coffee barista's there. I look like this, or in my opinion, or whatever. And I thought it was fucking funny. I thought it was funny, and that was it. That's the only reason why I posted it. I didn't post it for any other reason than I thought this picture looked funny and that I could relate to what I've seen with my experiences in my own eyes. He decided to go out of his way and say that was Trevor. Then, so I ignored that, whatever. I didn't ignore it. I had like a big spiel written out. And I decided not to. Then he decides to tell me that he hopes that my son is transgender. I snapped on him. I said so. I called him a fag lover, and I couldn't think of anything, so I didn't want to be derogatory towards. I don't know. I was trying to think of something to say, and I couldn't think of anything. I was in one of my anger emotional states that he read earlier on in the video. I was in my like, I don't know what the fuck to say, and I'm gonna blow up, and I just need something to say, and I just keyboard warrior, right? What I said was I called him a fag lover. Right on there. I don't even know why I said that. I don't even know what the fuck a fag lover is. Someone loves fags. Okay, whatever. Right? He posted it all over the internet, all over his page. We know a lot of the common same people or a lot of the same group. He posted on his page and publicly tries to harass me because I call him a fag lover. He This was after he said something about my son being transgender. I can't prove it. I rage deleted it. I rage got out of there, got my shit out of there, said what I had to say, blocked and deleted him. But for real, he decided that he was going to bring my son into this discussion that we were having. So I said to him what I said. And I just couldn't get over the fact that I found out that he was posting this thing that I said in our private chat on his social media. Because we probably know a lot of the same people, or we know we do know a lot of the same people. And I don't want to be judged by these people, but I just I had to reply with something, and it didn't even mean anything. There's no reason why I replied this way. I just said what I said because I was angry. I had one of my moments, and I apologize to anybody who saw it that might be offended. I am not a, a piece of shit that talks poorly about people who sleep with the same sex or are gay or anything like that. It's just like I said, it's just something I use to, whatever. Anyways, uh, um, my point here is, um, Nathan, I don't know what made you think that this had me thinking that this was a transgender or that I was making fun of a transgender person, but it clearly shows that you take things like hair color and clothing as a way to describe someone of transgender. You just assume because they wear a certain thing or just have a certain hair color that they are transgender because they defend the rainbow, that they are transgender or they have rainbow hair or whatever the heck you want to say, that they're transgender. You are assuming that now. I did not. It wasn't me that assumed it. It was you. I literally just posted it because I thought it was funny because of the coffee baristas that you see that expect a tip for doing literally nothing and look like a train wreck. A lot of the time, not all the time, but a lot of the time. So, and then to bring my son into it, obviously I'm going to retaliate because I'm going to think that, I'm angry at this point. You're hoping that my son's going to be transgender. You're thinking that I'm going to disown my son or I'm going to be angry with my son for choosing to do that. No, I'm going to tell him exactly what I'll tell anybody else. You do you in your own home. When he owns his own home, he'll be able to do whatever the fuck he decides to do. Until then, I have to put up with it. I'm gonna have to put up with it. I'm sure. If he has a transgender boyfriend or girlfriend, I'm gonna have to deal with the fact that he sees him at school or her or whatever. And as much as I can do something about it, I'm gonna try and do something about it because I don't agree with it. But I'm not gonna try and I'm not gonna hurt him. I'm not gonna call him names. I'm not gonna make fun of him or tell him he's a loser for deciding to be this way, or anything like that. I'm just going to tell him not in my house, bro. And you're probably like, well, that's bullshit because he should be able to do whatever the fuck he wants, wherever he wants, and be whoever he wants. Not until he's 18, man. That's my, nor until he lives on his own. And the reason being for that is because it's not only my child. I love him. I have a core belief system. I want him to believe that core belief system. This is the person that I made and I was planning on, and plans change. I get that. People change. That doesn't work out the way you thought it was going to work out. Right now today, lots of freaking dads are like thinking, oh, I wish I had a boy, or I wish I had a girl, or the people thinking this or whatever, this or that, or this, I can't. But um, I don't know. We're not forcing them to be anything. I'm not forcing anybody to be anything or do anything or act a certain way or be a certain thing. I don't agree with forcing anybody to be any of those things, but I do agree with until I believe you're as much molded as I can mold you as my child until you're at least 16 and under my roof. I would not say 18, but I would say 16 and under my roof. You want to, and then after that, I really don't want you to go get your Wang Chun cut off or turn into a vagina or I don't want your um I don't want your I don't want you to get testosterone or do any of that bullshit because I want you to see things the way that I see it and I want my chance to mold you the way I want to mold you. You're my child. That's kind of the way it works, you know? Um I guess that's the downfall of being a human. You don't get to choose what you want to be until after you have been raised in your household. And people will say, "Well, that doesn't have to be that way." Well, that's the way it's been for the last 2,000 years, and that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. You can argue what you want, but uh, I think kids should be no more than they should be deciding when they're having babies. Is no more than when they should be deciding what gender they're going to be. And I really do not want them to be having kids at 16. But I mean, if they're going to be doing it, at least get out of my house first and get yourself settled. Uh, because I don't even have my shit together. So, how am I supposed to help you take care of a grandkid if you're 17, 18, 19 years old? I can. I don't even know if I'll ever be able to do that. Um, but at that age, you're able to make your own decisions. You know, then you can get pregnant. You can be transgender. You can be a he, she, her, him, they, them, it, they, whatever the fuck you want. You can do whatever you want. Your brain is fully developed. Your decision making skills are sharpened. You're ready to join the world with all of your everything's prepared. Everything is ready for you. You know, just as much as I want you to be ready to cook your own food, do your laundry, I want you to be able to pick your own gender at 16, 17, 18 years old. If you're still living under my roof, however, during 16, 17, 18 years old, you are not allowed to bring that shit into my house. Just like I'm not, I will not, I will respect you and not bring my, I guess, straight life into you. Once again, I'm explaining it. I shouldn't be explaining it. This is just what has happened. And this is what caused me to make this video, this stupid meme. She's a coffee barista, Nathan. I don't know if she's transgender. Maybe she is. Maybe she isn't. Maybe she just likes rainbow hair. Maybe it's not a she. Maybe it's a he. I don't give a fuck about shit. I thought it was a coffee barista. Anyways, on to the next thing, which is my definition of being transphobic. So, my definition of being transphobic is being a piece of shit to people when you see them. When you see them, you walk across the street. When you're in the grocery store, you don't use the same till as them. You won't use the same hand sanitizer. You won't use the same freaking, you're in the bathroom. You won't use the same stall as a transgender person. I don't give a shit who went to the bathroom. People are walking around in my house. So I'm just waiting to see if they're coming downstairs. It's a downfall of having kids, I guess, sometimes. Um, Hold on. I'm going to be right back. I'll be right back. Logan, it's bedtime, okay? Okay, it's bedtime, bro. Hey, Piggy. But yeah, back to where I was. Okay, so um, being a homophobic means to me when you see somebody, you cross the road, you like I said, in the grocery store, you don't use the same till, etc., etc., etc. You have a birthday party, you don't invite. Well, I guess I'm kind of out of the loop on that one. I didn't really think about that, but you know what I mean? Like you're disrespectful to them out in public. And to go back to what I was just saying, no, I do not think you're transphobic if you do not invite someone to your house who is transgender because you do not want them in your house. Just like I was saying about my kids, I do not want someone in my house who believes that getting drunk and doing drugs is okay. I do not want someone in my house who is a Satanist. I do not want someone in my house who believes in anger or whatever. I do not want someone in my house who uh, believes that it's okay to do pretty much anything that I'm against. I don't want any of those types of people in my house. Criminals, drug addicts, people, uh, thieves, sex offenders. I don't want these people in my house. I don't want people, and these people all believe you go to, I'm not going to go to the mental health unit and start bringing people over to my house because I think they need friends or because I want to be nice to them or because I think that they all deserve rights. Um, I just don't. I'm just not going to. But that doesn't make me transphobic. It doesn't mean that I'm not willing to be a respectful person when I am in a situation where I have to interact with you. But I'm not going to put myself in a situation where I don't have to interact with you. I'm not going to go out of my way to force myself into a place where I have to interact with you. If I'm a bad person for you for that, if I'm transphobic or whatever, then so be it. But um, I do not see it that way. That's not what I think it is. I think transphobic means that you're someone who treats someone like a bag of shit because they're transgender. Uh, yeah, that's that's about it for me. Is you're not like I said, you're not transgender. You're not transphobic if you're not against someone who, as long as you are being generally respectful to people's human rights as a human being, um, then you are not being transphobic when you are in the sanctity of your own house. If I, you know what? There's a lot of people that hate a lot of things, and if they hate it in their own house and they don't bring it into the world and they don't just demonstrate it, then whatever. Who cares what they hate? There's people that are going to hate me, and I don't go over. They don't invite me over to their house. I don't go over to their house. I don't get upset with them because they don't want to hang out with me or spend time with me. I found these cups at the dollar store. They say I don't give a sip or I don't give a shit. um, I don't know. I'm pretty slippery talker, so there's probably things in here that are going to make people think that um, I'm prejudiced or whatever, because I don't know what I'm saying. I'm just trying to make sense of all the things that happened during this thing. Um, but yeah, to me, as far as I'm concerned, you're not transphobic if you monitor the activities that go on in your environment and in your household and where you can control them. If you decide that you don't want it in your house, you decide that you don't want to hang out with those types of people, you not types of people, but transgender people, you don't want to, um, whatever, then that's your choice. You do that. Just like they have the choice to do them, you should have the choice to do you in your home and wait until you're 18 to do so, and so on and so forth. There should be rules and regulations for it because I think it's a big decision. It's just as big as having kids. It's just as big as having sex. It's just as big as buying your first house or your first car. You got to make sure that it's something that you're gonna have to live with. A tattoo, you something you're gonna have to live with for the rest of your life. If you decide that you want to chop your wiener off or grow some titties or whatever you want to do, this is a permanent decision. Becoming a girl is a permanent decision. Um, But yeah, so that's, and the last thing that we'll talk about is, um, okay, let's go to here. We we can have different opinions, we can have different core beliefs. So, um, we can, I'm giving you an opinion right now. You can have another video out there somewhere, and I have all the right in the world to watch it. I have all the right in the world to comment on it. But if I'm gonna try and make you look like a bag of crap because your opinion doesn't go the same as mine, then I'm wrong. I'm a big piece of shit for going onto your page trying to make you look like a piece of shit for not agreeing with my opinion. That is not right. Say whatever you want to say on your own page. Do videos, make things, do whatever you want to do, exploit people however you want to exploit them, do anything. However, when they post shit on their videos, or when they post shit on their walls, on their private things on Facebook, and you want to go and put them down or make them try to publicly shame them for saying something or for posting something that maybe they don't even believe in it. Maybe they just think it's funny. Maybe they're just drastically just think it's funny. Um, so, you know, we all have different opinions. We have a right to share them. Nobody has a right to tell us we're not allowed to have those opinions. Um, I also have, or we, lots of people have core beliefs. I have a core belief. I'm a Christian. I'm not church going. I say some pretty bad things, some pretty foul things. I'm probably not the greatest Christian in the world. I help people when I can. I say nice things to people when I can. I try to open the door for the elderly. I try to be a nice person. I try to do my best, but I have a core belief system that I believe that we were that we were born on this earth, that this earth was created, and that we were put on here to uh, recreate or procreate or whatever. And if you want to try and tell me differently, you're more than welcome to challenge that, but you just don't be disrespectful of it or try to bring my family into your argument to try to hurt me, to make me go off my handle so I say shit to you, to make me look like a bag of shit out in public, when really all it was is I lost my shit, my cool, and I have anger management issues and I don't know how to control myself, so I said some things that maybe were inappropriate, but all in all you did a lot worse to try and get me there, to get this to get me upset, to get me saying the things that I was saying. So whatever. Anyways, the purpose of this is just to say it's not right to go around throwing around transphobic because someone doesn't agree with you, or because someone doesn't uh, agree with your whatever. I have a right to believe what I believe. You have a right to believe what you believe. You have a right to an opinion. I have a right to an opinion. Do whatever you want to do. Um, I also think that if you have a core belief, your core beliefs shouldn't change, or the way you act, or the way you talk, or the way you are around people shouldn't change because someone in the family, someone that you know, a friend, a cousin, a relative, or whatever, of some kind, a school teacher, someone that you know is transgender. So now all of a sudden you have to start changing the way you act and the way you talk. Hell fucking no. Hell no. Why do I have to change? I grew up my whole life calling in people fags, not because they were gay, not because they were whatever, not because they're lesbians, not because of whatever. I was calling people gay. My whole teenage, adolescent life, I still use it to this day to friends that allow me to appropriate it because we've used it amongst ourselves for such a long time. But I have never ever really used it in a terminology to go and make someone cry or hurt themselves or not want to be alive or be depressed or whatever because they were gay or whatever by calling them a fag. But I used to use that terminology all the time. I'm not changing. I've still out to this day haven't changed the way I talk just because of this LGBTQ woke bullshit movement. um I'm not gonna change the way I talk. I'm not gonna change. Um, I have to keep. I have There's boundaries in this world, and I just have to make sure I'm aware of them, and make sure not to cross them. So that means when I'm out in public and I'm around people that could possibly offend them, that means I don't say things that might possibly offend them. I don't do things that might possibly offend them. But in the quietness of my own home, yeah, that's I'm still gonna talk the way I talk because it's funny, or I think it's funny, or I think whatever is, and let me explain to you what the word gay or calling someone a fag means to me. It doesn't mean gay. It doesn't. I'm not making fun of their gender, their sexuality, their personality, their friggin' alities. I don't care. What it means to me is something that I don't like, that I think's weird, looks different, whatever. I'm gonna say that looks gay. Oh, that was gay. Or I'm gonna come over to my friend's house. I'm not even gonna say their name. Won't be once the whole time I'm there. I'll call them a fag. Um, that's just who I am now. I'm not using the word to offend people, or to insult people, or to whatever. And why would I stop talking like that around but I also have respect for people. So I'm not going to go downtown and start talking that way to people and start treating people a certain way because I don't agree with the way that they live their lives, or the way, or I'm not going to start calling people gay or fags, or start calling everything that I see that I don't like a fag or as gay, because it might offend some people. And so I think I understand the terminology of being transgender or transphobe more than you do, Nathan, because, uh, well, it's just simple. I don't treat people like shit, but I still have an opinion, and I still have a core belief system, and I keep it to myself. Well, I mean, I post it on my own Facebook, but I don't go around attacking people openly on their pages and stuff like that, and try and make them look like a fool for having their own beliefs, and for laughing at certain things and whatever. You know, uh, I just I'm allowed to think what I think, and I'm allowed to believe what I believe, and I'm allowed to be who I want to be. And you may not agree with that, but all in all, we're all just human beings trying to live our best lives. And sometimes I just want to express the way I feel on my Facebook page. And I'm not asking you to agree with it, but I am asking you to leave it alone. Just leave it be. So, anyways, yeah. Um, and then the last thing I want to say about that topic is, like I said earlier, attacking one another, no matter where you stand on the LGBTQ community, where you stand on any of that stuff. I 110% believe that you do not have a right to attack someone just because they said something that you didn't like. And you definitely do not have a right to bring their family members into it, to hope bad on their family, or to um try. What I mean by hope bad on their family is not that if my son were to become transgender that would be bad on our family, but to he knows that I'm against it, and that if my son were to do that, that would create conflict between father and son, and I would never want that between anybody, because I've already had a poor enough relationship with my father, and had nothing to do with gender. It just had to do with uh, me and my father just not getting, really having a chance, because he put me in foster care when I was 8 years old for having serious anger problems, and him not being able to be there to deal with it when my mom was home alone. So here we are. Um, so I wouldn't wish that bad relationship with a parent on anybody. And unfortunately, yes, it would provide bad relationship for the same reason it would cause a bad relationship between me and anybody else I was talking to. Um, and so that's on that topic. That's the end of that. It's just basically don't be a piece of shit to each other. Who cares what you believe in? After you, like I've said throughout this whole thing, after you are 18 and you have decided that after you are 18 and you have decided that you want to be a boy or a girl or whatever, you do you. Don't call people transphobic because they don't agree with you, and if they don't agree with you, it doesn't give you the right to go onto their page and start saying shit. Just be you and let them be them, and hopefully one day the world will come to an end and we will have all been ourselves. Um, oh, actually, I'll add one last thing. The other thing is um, oh no, I'm gonna go to the next section now, which is what my beliefs are and what my standings are on this whole transgender situation, and why it's not transphobic, but I'm still allowed to, but I do not agree, but I still don't agree with this situation whatsoever with this whole LGBTQ thing. Um, so I'll start with I believe that it's male, female. It's been this way since the beginning of time, whether you want to believe in the creation, whether you want to believe in science, whether you want to believe in magic, hoo ha, whatever the fuck you want to believe in, male and female. Now, you're not going to say penis and vagina. I'm going to say semen and eggs. Both given two things that work only one way. They don't work the other way. Doesn't happen any other way. There's got to be a reason why however people got onto Earth, that there are these two parts that create a baby. Now, I'm not saying creation is the only reason to make love or to have sex or whatever you want to call it, but I am saying that um, that's got to have been a big portion of why we were put on this planet, or or our reason for existing is having children. It has to be part of it. I also believe that, um, like I said earlier, you can't say that. Okay, so the world was created, but no, it wasn't. It actually was a Big Bang theory, or a Big Bang thing. Uh, big huge rocks and stuff collided, and here it is, boom, this is our, as scientifically, this is how the world was created, E. coli, and things grew on the earth, and so on and so you can't say that was you well, you can, but that doesn't make any sense. I don't agree with that, but if you accept that and you choose to accept that, then you can't turn around and say, um, okay, the creation of humans is the creation of life, or the human life is this egg and this semen, and it comes together and it creates a baby, and that baby has no idea what the heck it's going to be. Um, one out of 1,000 times, it's going to be confused as to what it's going to be or whatever. And so now we have to create a whole community of people and a whole different way of living and a whole way of accepting or not accepting or whatever. We have to create a whole new sport in the Olympics. We have to, or a whole new team in the Olympics. We have to create a whole new, and then I don't even know if there's a whole enough transgenders that would be physically fit enough to be able to be considered for the Olympics. Like, um, I just personally think that it's not right. That was it. There's got to be a reason why we were made, and it works this way, and it doesn't work any other way. Um, I don't agree with that gender equality should be taught, or that gender identity should be taught at school, or uh, sex in the gender identity should be taught in our schools. I believe all decisions um, in the action of all discussions of sex, as in the action, and gender should be discussed with parents. Should only be discussed with parents at an age deemed appropriate by individual households. So, because I've decided I'm going to have these children, I'm going to raise them, and this is how I want to raise them. And these are the rules I want them to follow until they're not in my home anymore. Um, what was I saying now? Until these children are out of my home, just like they're not able to make changes in the way things work in the household, why should anybody else tell me how they should work? Why should I let other people tell my kids how things should be, or how things happen, or how things are, or how what they're supposed to believe, or anything other than um, their studies? School was put on this planet, I'm pretty sure, to educate people, not to discover which gender you're going to be, or to discover which, um, you know. So I just think, if that means abolishing straight gender teachings out of the schools as well, and making it so that only parents teach their children, whether it be straight, gay, upside down, backwards, left or right, he, she, her, the him, the hippo, dinosaur, whatever the fuck you want to fucking identify as, or be part of, or have sex with, or whoever you want to be, gay, straight, purple, green, whatever the hell you want to do with your life, should be taught, should be um, with parent. You should be discussing that only with your parents. Um, we as people are looking for another way. Our children, if you've not realized, if you take a look at your kids now, you take a look at your kids as teenagers as they grow up and they get old, they're looking for every other answer other than yours. They're not the one. They won't give a shit about how you feel, about what you think. They want something else. They want their own. They want whatever the hell they want. So we so they're going to go with their teachers, their peers, their whatever. So you send them out there into this world, and they got teachers and all these people telling them they can be chickens, they can be fucking girls, boys, they can dress up as a cow and get milked if they fucking want. It doesn't matter. They'll tell them, yeah, that's appropriate. That's appropriate. That's appropriate. Um, why is that right in our school systems? Like, why are they telling our children that it's okay or not okay? Isn't that, I don't know. I just think that that should be something that parents should teach their kids. The other thing is, if we allow everybody to believe a certain way, uh, if we allow anybody to be a certain way, to be any way they want, and and then we have to go let all the people out of the mental hospitals. And I'm not saying that as a joke or messing around or as like a punchline to my next part or whatever. I'm saying that as like for real. We have to go let all the people out of the mental hospitals because they think they're a bunch of shit that they're not either. Some of them think they're animals. Some of them think that they're dead. Some of them think, whatever, think they're supposed to die. Some of them want to kill themselves. Some of them fucking blah, 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 blah. So we have to just let them do whatever the fuck they want because they identify as that. So we think that we have to let them be cats. We have to, next thing we know, it's not just going to be people, men in underwear parading around in the streets. It's going to be mental health patients parading around in the streets in cats and dog uniforms and Batman costumes and fucking all kinds of things. Just identifying as whatever the fuck they want to identify as. And I mean, the Batman costumes might be a little bit cool, but other than that, a bunch of human cats running around is just it's fucked. It's just I just don't agree with it. Um, uh, the other day, my brother called me and said that his niece was at the playground and waiting to go on the slide, and when her mom or my brother's wife decided, or girlfriend decided to, when Angel had said, okay, well, you can't go, you have to let this other girl go. The mom of this other girl decided to speak up and say that she doesn't identify as a girl, she identifies as a boy or whatever she said about her kid. The kid's like 5 years old. Unless she's really mistaken for age, the kid's really young age, 5 years old, doing identifying as whatever. Like we're getting to a point where we're not allowed to force anti-transgender, but we're now allowed to force transgender on our kids. And it's okay and it's right and it's appropriate. It's appropriate to say, "Oh, you're not a girl, you're a boy." They're gonna fucking grow up confused. I don't care what you want to say. They're gonna grow up not ever knowing what the fuck they were born as because you told them what they were supposed to be. They're gonna be like, you identified as a girl when you were born, or as a boy when you were born. Now you're identifying as a girl. Like, what the fuck? How do you choose what you identify as 5 years old, or 6 years old, or 4 years old, or whatever? How the fuck do you choose that? How? And then you're gonna fuck that child up for the rest of their life. frustrates the fuck out of me. It sickens me. You know, you want to sleep with all kinds of different people. You want to, you like dick, you like sucking dick, you want to dress up like a girl while you suck some dick. That's fucking your choice. You want to fucking cut your tits off and dress up like a dude while you fuck a dude in the ass, a dude who's dressed up like a girl in the ass. You want to do whatever the fuck you want. You do that in your own privacy of your own fucking home. You do not parade it around. You do not need to we do not need to be promoting it. There has never been a time in my life where I thought, oh man, I wish there was less transgenders around. Or I fucking hate transgender fucking people. No, no, not until after and so now I don't hate transgender people, but I do, after it became a scene, I hated this whole fucking scene. I hated, I hated this whole thing. It's just so frustrating. Like, what the fuck are we dealing with here? So, I mean, all in all, I just don't believe that it's appropriate to be parading it around, to be dressing up inappropriately, whether it's straight, whether it's bisexual, whether it's gay, lesbian, transgender, anything. I don't care what you want to do. Do it in the privacy of your own home. Unfortunately, people are going to think it's abnormal, but that's better than the alternative, I think. There's people out there right now that believe that having sex with children is okay because they identify as children themselves mentally. Or having sex with animals is okay because they identify as other animals. Or having sex with themselves or marrying themselves or do you ever watch that show like Strangely Attached or whatever, where people are like fucking having showers with their mothers and shit like that? People do fucked up fucking shit. When we just let them do whatever the fuck they want, we're just, what are we on this world? Like, the world's just gonna be chaos. So yeah, that's my opinion. Is we need to stop fighting over it. We need to stop attacking people over it. We need to stop. We need to stop fighting about it on the positive aspect of the like pro, and we need to stop fighting for it on against it. We just need to stop it. People, do whatever the fuck you want to do. Live the life that you want to live. Be whoever you want to be. You don't need to protest. You don't need to whatever. I don't care if I see you kissing a dude kissing another dude, or a girl kissing another girl, or a dude dressed as a girl kissing a dude whatever the fuck, a fucking, or someone uh dating a fucking rock. I don't care what you're doing. I'm not gonna fucking judge you. I'm definitely not going to have a problem with you in public. Am I gonna go home and say, oh my God, look guess what I've fucking seen today? Of course I am. Do you want to know why? Because it's not normal. It's just not. It's not ever going to be normal. Um, yeah, that's enough rambling for me. So yeah, that's what I believe. Do I think it makes me transphobic? Hell no. It doesn't make me transphobic. It just, I don't, because like I said earlier in my video, I do not treat people differently just because they like to dress up like boys and girls. When I was a kid, I used to have foster sisters, and my foster sisters all wanted me to play Barbies, boyfriend and girlfriend, house, whatever the hell, freaking, doctor, all kinds of shit when I was a kid. I had when I got older, I had foster sisters that I dated. Um, I've had experimented, first time doing everything kind of stuff. And, you know, where was I going? I can't remember where I was going with this. Holy crap, maybe I should stop smoking before I start doing these. 1 second. Nothing here. Oh yeah, so I grew up with all these foster sisters, foster this and that, dated all kinds of girls throughout my foster home, blah blah blah. I played with Barbies my whole entire life and all kinds of things when I, not my life, but my whole growing up life when I was growing up in foster care. I met every single girl I that I ever met, you know, in foster care, you know, whatever. I had tomboy friends. I've had tomboy. I have a girl, right, a girl in my life who's been my well, acquaintance now. We used to be more friendish. When I hung out with her friends, I got into a fight with one of her group of friends, so I'm not really friends with her anymore. But her is actually him, and I've known her as a her whole life, and so um, I don't ever think of her as a her. I always or as a him. But this person has been 100 like has an Adam's apple, has her tits flattened, or whatever stopped from growing. She has a mustache, doesn't shave her beard, or fucking doesn't shave her armpits, doesn't shave her legs, probably doesn't shave her hoo ha. I wouldn't know. Um, and uh, and I've been friends with her whole time that she's done this. I've been friends with her since I knew her as a kid. I've been friends with her or him. I don't ever, didn't ever just cross. I don't ever treat her like shit. I don't or disrespect her. I'm not rude to her. I'm not mean to her. I don't call her names. Mutual friends, I kind of was like, oh, when did this happen or whatever, right? But I mean, there's always going to be that question when people make serious decisions like to become a different sex or a different gender, you know. So yeah, of course, it was kind of a little bit weird at first, but I'm cool with it now. Um, it takes a bit to get used to something like that. It's a pretty big leap, I think. Um, but anyways, um, I'm not transphobic because I don't go out of my way to pick on or hurt people of the transgender community. I just um, don't agree with it. So of course I got things that come up on my Facebook. Of course, I might say things on my page or whatever, but I don't go out of my way to hurt you. I don't go out of my way to hurt your page, you know? Anyways, that's all I'm gonna say about that for tonight. See how this goes. Um, let's see how this goes and see what people think. Anyways, that's my rant. Don't go around you screaming transphobic at people when you don't even know half their truths or how what's going on. Um, yeah. Have a great day, everyone, and or evening, I guess, since it's 11:45 at night. And thank you for watching if you did.